How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. Hope you're all good. Hope you're all well. Short turnaround between Carabao Cup action, the win against Preston, and the midday kickoff this Saturday, Newcastle. We're heavily going to talk about the Newcastle game, people, because it's, in my opinion, the most important game of the season so far. And in the Carabao Cup, Preston, we got the job done, light work, but I do think there's still a couple of things that we need to talk about there as well. As always, James is in the building, Lee Judge is in the building, and Jordan in the building. So first things first, hit the like button. Let's get the likes up to 1,000. Subscribe, do all of that stuff. Notification bell on individual channels as well. A lot of good content coming out across the board. And obviously the AFTV Plus app to follow us in the predictions. The prediction for Newcastle is active, so you can go over to the AFTV Plus app. The Fourever predictors within the app, free to play. Just play along. It's all for bants, really. But more will be said about that later. How are we all feeling, lads? All good?
All good, yeah.
All good.
Brilliant. Yeah, 3-0 win. I mean, Jordan.
Can I just first of all just say that I wanted to give you guys a massive thank you for the listeners and the viewers. They don't know that you were all kind enough to offer to move the time of the recording to 7 a.m. to accommodate me because I double booked. I messed up. Lee made a mad journey back from Preston last night. Had to do another Arsenal show for the platform today, and got back late. And I was really grateful for all three of you to, it's bad enough for 8 a.m. that you guys move it to accommodate my timing. So I appreciate that. Although some would say 8's not early, but that's another discussion. But 7, that's a stretch. So I appreciate it. But of course, we didn't get to do a show at 7 o'clock this morning. So this is my thanks aren't really fulfilled because we didn't do it. But just wanted to let you know, had we have done the show, thank you very much for accommodating my double booking. Just wanted to
is this an apology or a diss track? Because I don't know which one it is.
just letting the viewers, giving the update and the listeners and the viewers what's going on while showing my appreciation to my Fourever family.
My pleasure, Jordan. My pleasure.
My pleasure, he says.
It was a bit of a disaster, to be fair, this morning. Let's tell everyone what happened, right? So we had it in Thursday, 8 a.m. We're doing it. Turkish put this in early. Jordan goes, "Oh no, I double booked. You're gonna have to replace me." Well, come on, it's the four of us. We're a family. We can all get up 1 hour earlier for you. So we move it to 7. So that's Jordan, who's that's his kind of situation. Then you've got Lee, who's traveling back from Preston. Doesn't get back till about 5-6 a.m. So he decides, well, look, I may as well stay up because, it's just going to be more. I get it. It's more tiring to actually sleep and try wake back up than just staying up. So then you got Lee, who's kind of fucked on one end. Then I wake up to a phone call at 7:08. Lee Judges is ringing me. Immediately, when you're kind of not really with it, but you just go, fucked up. You're just like, I must have. Yeah. Hello, are you coming? I skip my alarms. I'll be there. And he goes, all right, mate, that's fine. We can't get hold of Turkish. I went, oh no. So I didn't know, right? I thought, well, we're finished. I may as well stay in bed. He may as well have said, don't worry, we're not doing the pod. But no, let me show my face because Lee's been up since Preston. So I wander over. I'm shattered for 25 minutes. No word from Turkish. So we go, all right, sack it off. Let's go back to bed. We'll find another time. Lee, go get some sleep for Invincible podcast. I then go back to sleep another 2 hours. When I wake up, the message was in the group around 8 a.m. Guys.
Fuck's sake.
For fuck's sake. From Turkey. So it was just not ideal for any of us, basically. But here we are.
Yeah.
Lee's going to demand points off for all of us, which I think he's entitled to do. But we can all argue over that. I mean, Lee, you must have been furious. We had one task: be there at 7, and you travelled all the way back from Preston.
Yeah,
and you were there. I mean, you must hate us.
Well, not the word.
Not the word. What is the word?
Yeah.
I don't really know, you know what I mean, really. I don't really want to swear and fall out with people, really, at the end of the day. My journey home last night was, the M6 was closed. The M1 was closed. So we had to do detours off of there. Then the M25, detailed off that. And I thought, well, yeah, it's now 5 o'clock in the morning. I've got 2 hours to fill. So I thought, I'll do myself a little bit something to eat and get ready for the podcast. Yeah. And I have to say, I think I got in and said I was at home at 4 o'clock. 5 o'clock I got home. And they've got I'm going to call him Soppy Bollocks. He's put the link in at 4:30, 4:45.
That was our first sign, wasn't it? Really?
I should have realised.
Yeah, that's what we knew.
I should have realised something.
We knew.
Yeah.
Something was amiss.
I don't know. I apologize. I tried. I really did. I tried to stay up as well. I've done everything right. Look, when the news came in from Jordan, less than 24-hour notice, I messaged a couple of people. I said, "Can you fill in?" One said, "Yeah." Then I actually went back to Jordan. I said, "Really, Jordan, can you do it?" He said, I'm unavailable from this time. I said, "All right, let's do it for 7." And you don't know, I don't even like 8 or 9. So for me to just suggest 7, I'm like, all right, let's do this for the good of the show, the community. I set up the link. I've sent it in there by 5 in the morning. Yes, I was up late. I'm always up late. The only thing I didn't do was reset my alarm 1 hour back. So I've woke up ready for a pod at 8, looked at the group. I've seen messages flying throughout the last hour, and the rest is history. So I do want to apologize to Lee. But as I am Soppy Bollocks, that apology is with a pinch of salt.
Yes. But you know what was the more hurting thing about all this, right? Is that I've done that, and I'd do anything for Jordan. You know what I mean? I know, he's overbooked. We've all done silly things. You know what I mean? How this bloke lives a life, I do not know, but that is another story. So I'm quite happy to help him out and all that, So anyway, James being facetious and trying to be the funny guy that he is, puts in the group. So we go for 10:30 then. Good night, everybody. You know what I mean? Is what he actually puts in the text, at 7:31. He says good night, which I say morning all to.
Yeah, well, you had a long day ahead. I was all right.
Long day ahead. So anyway, I've now got a dilemma to do. Like, what do I do? Do I go asleep, or do I, carry on through, to the Invincibles and get through till 2:30? Turkish then replies, 07:59 FFS. 10:30 it is then, guys. No, sorry. No, oh my God. I'm so sorry. I've done really bad of all this and all that. Like, FFS 10:30 it is.
Jordan should apologize for me. He's the root of the problem. When a branch is dying, do you go to the branch or the roots?
Listen, I had my apology all ready to go had we done it at 7, but you've trumped me. You've been late, trumped me. So
now look at him. It's like he's on FaceTime to his missus in Barbados.
I know.
You know what it is? What's going on? So I'm at my mum's. The reception here is awful. This is the only room. Signal. I didn't hear
the
a word
food's great here, babes.
What's going on? Yeah, the thumbnail's going to be so
before we carry on talking about Jordan, right? I just want to repeat this as well. Now, bearing in mind, I've now been up 24 hours. No sorry or anything comes from it. Let's make it 11 p.m. instead of 10:30, so the lead judges can stay up an extra half hour.
Was it me?
Because I've got to do the big 6.
Yeah. That's poor.
I know what I like to do with the big 6. But it's a family show, so I'm not saying nothing.
I swear Turkish has actually apologised, though.
I don't know.
Just now.
He's literally as a recording.
Just now, he's recording, You get all these millions on the comments going, oh, let him off, and Sharoy will be round there writing messages and putting his wig on for him and everything like that.
Hey,
But
James.
nothing-
Sorry,
but-
Lee, because you have a vendetta against me. So I do apologize.
Vendetta I have against you, do I? Oh, okay, like
Yeah,
that.
you do. But James, who is the if there was 100% of blame to give for the circumstances of tonight's show, where does the percentages of blame lie here? Just so I get someone fair, unbiased. You know,
that is so. Oh, that's a difficult position to put me in.
I think 90%.
I'll own it. It started with me. I double booked, and I apologize. So I'm owning that. But the fact that we didn't do the show that I moved us to because of your lateness, come on, it's 64 minutes blame. It's got to be.
Do you know what this is, guys? This is the Trossard pass.
Saliba, 14 being me.
This is the Trossard pass and Saliba red. Like Jordan he didn't need to make that pass. He put Turkish in trouble. But Turkish, what you doing grabbing a man when you're last man? You didn't have to do it.
Split second decision. I didn't have time to think.
Anyway, guys, I know some of you complain that we don't get into the podcast early enough, so we'll put time codes in
They're
this
definitely
one.
complaining in this one.
For sure.
There's about 5 comments already saying, "I talk about football, lads." One person's put in 11 minutes 45 seconds. This is where the football starts. So we've already got all of that. Don't worry.
But Jordan, are you actually doing the podcast?
James, before I didn't hear a word that any of you guys said. You all sounded like chipmunks on like steroids. The signal was awful. This is the only I can hear you now. I can hear what you're saying.
Hold on. I'm sure the location's better, but you can still sit up.
I haven't got a table. All right, sorry. I ain't got a table.
Lying in bed.
I haven't got a table, so I thought I might as well just.
All you need is a remote control and just looking completely disinterested. So you're just watching TV.
That's better, man.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now your hands up like this, isn't it?
Yeah. Now my hand's hurting now. Can we get on with this? Because
Nah, that line on the bed one doesn't work. That's like one of them American teenage music songs that they just come back and fall on the bed and it's
them R&B ones.
Let's put it this way. Turkish. You'd understand about lying in bed, wouldn't you? You'd understand what you're on about. Yeah?
Actually, I fell asleep on the sofa.
Worse.
Oh, well, much better look.
Yeah.
It's a nice sofa. It's comfy. It's very comfy. Don't worry, points have been deducted off the necessary evil. I've done my work behind the scenes, and the person that needs to be deducted points has been deducted points.
Oh, that's
whoa. I'm in prison. I accept that. But surely you're joining me in prison as well. You're my cellmate. If I'm going down, if you lot are gonna try and take a point off me for today, I'm backtracking. Jordan, this is the 3rd time within 24 hours you've tried to change a pod. I'll make it 3 points for you. And Lee, everyone that you've been late 1 minute to this season that I've looked past, I'm gonna add them into it as well. So what are we saying here? Letter of the law or
listen? You have what you like. Why don't I tell you what? Because you're a good little boy. Why don't you give yourself an extra point for being here on time this time? Like that? I mean, yeah.
Let me
You've got no shame. You're not even worried about it. And do you know what? I was just got before we go into it. I text Michelle and I said to her I'm not saying this because she's what she said I
can't repeat it.
But I can't repeat what she said. This begins with effing. So where is Turkish? Obviously still asleep again. Rude. Asleep and you've been up all night. What a piss taker that bloke is.
Oh my God, Michelle.
If that was me, I would be fuming. But you're a nice guy, Lee, aren't you? And you'll let him off yet again and he'll continue to do it. So I've got no sympathy for you. Have a good day.
No.
I tell you what, Lee, let's let the listeners and the viewers decide who should get points docked off.
Yeah,
let's let them.
We've
all skipped.
I think incarceration is a little bit too harsh, if I'll be honest. But I wouldn't be against it, guys.
Yeah. I remember one time you wanted to get my bollocks chopped off for being late, and now it's incarceration. It's too much. You're and Michelle said you're a nice guy. Fucking, she don't know you yet. She don't know you yet. I might have to have a word. I might have to have a little word. But let's keep it moving. 15 minutes, bang on. Now we start the football talk. 3-0, Preston. And really, there's only one place to start, and I guess Nwaneri is that place to start. Lee, you made the trip up.
Yeah.
And as we've heard all about the trip back down, where you slept on Julian's shoulder, but I didn't mention that because it's fun. Yeah, how was you feeling about it all? I mean, how was the atmosphere? It's a small stadium. It's the Invincible Derby. The
Yeah.
first you played Preston for, is it I don't know for how long in my
They
lifetime.
even had pints, boys, with had Invincible Arsenal on the pumps. You know what I mean? Like classy club for
Okay.
Preston. Like it was really good. Like the atmosphere was very, very good. Nearly 6,000 Arsenal fans up there. And I don't know about what anybody else feels about it, but when you go up there in a midweek game like that, and you see that the away end is packed like that, it gives you a bit more pride going into it and all that. Like just feel like it's a good. You're proud to be an Arsenal fan, and I thought the boys played particularly well. I've got to say, being up all night, the travelling and everything, like Nwaneri's goal was just worth everything for it. What a strike. What a goal. What a performance from him, by the way. And I'll tell you what, Kai Everett said it weren't far behind it. What an header that was as well. Like, so really proper header that was. And but I felt that the class in the two teams was there. And I quite like that. I wanted to see that, and we got that, exactly what we wanted. Big up to Preston North End, everything about them. What a classy club. What a classy club. Fantastic little stadium. Fans friendly as anything, helpful and everything like that. It was just, pure class. And I wish them all the best for the future. But I thought it was a good performance from Arsenal yesterday. Really one to be pleased with. Everybody that you wanted to play well played well and contributed. But Nwaneri, I'm in awe of the kid. I am really. Do you know what? I think one of the things that people were saying when we was walking out at the game, he's a baller. Oh, what a baller! That was the word that was being used all the time. What a baller! What a player! He's exciting the Arsenal fans. Yes, it's Preston and all that, but he's just got something about him which it's an aura about him. I think he's the way he wants the ball all the time. He protects the ball with his body really well. And listen, the one thing I will say about Preston, they were physical. They put it about and everything like that. He's not scared of a physical battle and all that. Can't speak highly of that performance. And the goalkeeper, I didn't even realise the goalkeeper doesn't even move. Does not even move. Unbelievable finish.
Can I jump in quickly I just want to echo the praise of the Arsenal fans. I saw the picture of, the away end completely sold out. I mean, can we appreciate and not every Arsenal fan's in London. I completely know that, but the journey up north to Preston is what, a 5.5 hour drive, Lee? Was it something like that?
Yeah, 5.5.
They did it on a Wednesday night for a Carabao Cup 4th round game. We're not talking the second leg of the semi-finals like Ipswich in 2010. We're not talking about. I'm not saying Ipswich is in the same place, but you get what I mean, right? It's not even like that magnitude of occasion. You don't know what kind of players you're going to see. You don't know what kind of 11 you're going to get. But to sharpen those numbers, I mean, look, I'm sure Chelsea fans, Liverpool fans, they could all show me pictures of their clubs, Tottenham, Villa, Leicester, whoever. I'm sure people got example of their fans doing that. But just appreciate, even if we're not talking about Arsenal, but like the commitment of away fans, right? I mean, the money they pay, the hours they put in, the journey to around the country is one thing, but around the world to follow this club. Like, I think it's something that really goes under the radar when people go, oh, football fans. Football fans are some of the most committed, like genuinely loyal, like people when you get the right ones, right? Like, which is the majority. And it's such a kind of, I don't know, it's in so many ways, it's just Preston in the Carabao Cup. But in other ways, it's a packed out away end watching a 17-year-old score a phenomenal goal for the Arsenal first team, surrounded by other first team players as we book our place in the quarterfinals. And however lens you want to view it from, there's one that's very kind of whatever, keep things moving. There's another where you go, this is kind of that's kind of what makes football quite special sometimes. And I just think I took a lot of like pride and joy out of what actually was just a very generic win in a Carabao Cup game.
It's lost in football a bit, especially with how commercialized and money orientated it is now. But maybe Lee will chime in here. If you take the context of the game out in terms of what it's for, which is Carabao Cup, and you tell me you're away to a Preston or you're away to a Barca, I don't put one above the other. Because people need to understand, when I was going football as a youngster, Highbury days and stadiums alike, this is what I remember of football. That was the untouched, untainted football, the beautiful game. You know, or it wasn't so beautiful at times back in the day because of, you know what, tackles and whatnot. But on the other side, you had the creative freedom. But going away to a Preston or these grounds cannot be, as an experience, it's very different to a Barcelona, a Real Madrid, a Bayern Munich, and so on. But I wouldn't put one on top of the other. Obviously, you bring the context in, and if you're away in the Nou Camp for Champions League and it's away at Preston Carabao Cup, that's when obviously you're talking. But take the context out, there is no difference for me. In fact, I probably favor going to that sort of ground level club that's untainted, untouched, than one that's put in front of our faces, star-studded concert arenas and so on. So, yeah,
totally.
I've actually not been that lucky enough to go to many away games during my whole life. Right, I've been to Highbury plenty of times. Like I went to Highbury 50 to 100 times. I've been to the Emirates 100 times. Do you know what I mean? I've been to home games hundreds of times combined since I've started supporting Arsenal. But I've only been to a couple away games, and even they were in London. Do you know what I mean? So I've actually, when I hear Lee and friends of mine and relatives of mine that do go away talk about the away, on the bus or in the car, in the stadiums. Sorry.
Have you been West Ham over the years? Because I think West Ham's the best example because it's just happened. When I used to go Upton Park Old Stadium, it was the old school. You walk down them back roads. It's tight roads. It's community led. You get the food from the local community stores. Now you compare it to going to the Olympic Stadium. It is a completely different experience.
Right.
In comparison, it's an awful experience.
You're right. You're totally right. I've been Upton Park's one of the few away grounds I had actually been to see Arsenal play over the years. But yeah, hearing Lee and the guys talk about being in the way end and just seeing this new phrase, limbs, I just get jealous. I get so jealous. I'm just like, because there's not, I imagine, and Lee can talk to this as well, there's nothing worse than being somewhere in the north, 3-hour drive away, where you've just been battered 6-1 by Manchester City or by Liverpool, as we have done in recent years. But equally, there's probably nothing better than Villa Park 2 years ago when Jorginho scores that goal that goes off Martin. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what that feels like because I've never done it.
There's nothing better than winning away from home. I know, like, you go home games and everything like that. And listen, it's chalk and cheese. Home at the Emirates is completely different to an away game. But like obviously you enjoy winning at home, but you just get that little bit more of a buzz from it when you've won away from home. Especially when you go to the big games and all that and win. But, like Tottenham away, West Ham away are still very, very special games to go to and all that. But there's something about the long journeys into the deep north. I know it sounds silly like that. You go like you're going up north, like, and it's a midweek game. And it's not hostile or anything like that. Far from it, Preston fans were so genuinely lovely, like people asking about the team, how well we're doing. Remember the game when Petit scored? Someone was talking about that, and but when you get that result and then you get back in the car or back on the train or whatever, it is fantastic, and you see people up there and. I bumped into a few of my mates that were up there yesterday who can't get the tickets that they used to get because we're doing so well now. And it's, our safe journey home, like, blah, blah, talking about your experiences of getting there and everything. Like, it's just the whole package of it all. And, and when you do get those wins, it's fantastic. And I don't care when you get the long journey home, when you've won, I can't explain how different that is to if you've lost. Sometimes you can, like you lose to Newcastle away like last time, 6-hour journey home, you hardly speak to each other. But then you're winning, you've won the game and all that, like, oh, come on, let's stop off and get something to eat. And you know what I mean? It's just there's different things. It's great, you know what I mean? And Yeah, it is. It is great, and it is funny. Like, you know, I'm you know, an old man now, really, compared to it, but I'm in awe of this kid of 17 years of age. It's unreal, really. Like, you know what I mean, and everybody.
Lee, I want to ask you then, since I think Nwaneri, I mean, deserves a segment.
Yeah.
I mean, I think his segment rolls from this one onto the Newcastle game. Probably the best segue. But I've seen Fabregas come through similar ages, right? 16 debut, 17 started playing consistent games. You can add to that Tony Adams. I didn't see his, inception into the side, but at 17 he becomes, one of the focal points of someone playing a lot of minutes. You're saying you're in awe of Nwaneri. I mean, you've seen two. One turns out to be an Arsenal legend, the greatest captain of all time, and the other turns out to be, a Premier League great and someone who's, won multiple honors across different leagues and international. How do you feel about Nwaneri in comparison to those two, if there is a comparison to make?
Yeah, there's like a big comparison. I understand what you're saying. I relate to Paul Merson when he first come in as well. He was a very exciting young kid that come in, got a lucky break, if you remember rightly, with him, that Arsenal tried to sign Tony Cottee and didn't, and that left the door open. And you have to have like sliding doors, lucky moments, lucky times to be in there. I think Jack Wilshere is another one that would come into that category as well. You know, when I first see him, he's up there with the likes of Jack, I think, and maybe I haven't seen no one come in like and people will turn around, and I get that, Bolton and it's
Preston.
And also Preston, but they are professional footballers. They're not then you know. They're not mugs, these teams, you know what I mean? So to be, these players are good, you know, and then they're seasoned pros, you know what I mean? It's not like that they're young, like they've been about in the non-league and not the lower leagues and all that, like, you know. You still got to have a bit of a presence. I don't know if you've ever played remember the first time I played against men when I was a kid. Yeah, I got intimidated. This kid doesn't get intimidated. I know it's different and whatever, like, you know, but I think, and you know, he scored goals against them. He scored goals against, you know, yesterday. Unbelievably, nearly done it in the second half and all with it when he hit the bar with one. Like, you know, this is not like freaky stuff that he's doing. He's regularly doing it. I love the way he controls the ball and manipulates the ball away from people and everything like that. I just think that he's you know, I've met him as well, and he's like 17, but he's got a 24-year-old body, you know what I mean? He's in a man's body as well. I think he's like physically. And I just think now it's really interesting how Mikel's going to manage him, because, you know, we're all chomping at the bit now to say that he should be playing and all that, like, you know. And the one thing that I will say, I thought Jorginho was fantastic yesterday. I don't know if anybody was really watching.
I thought he looked masterful in his position, and I know that's
Brilliant.
more where the whole "it's only pressing away" thing probably comes in. You'd expect him to be, but I think whenever we've needed him to play this season, whether it be Bolton at home, this game, even the Tottenham away game, we had to come in. He's now getting to a point, Jorginho, where like you just know what you're going to get from him.
Yeah.
You just totally know. And I don't mean that in like there's a cap and there's a ceiling.
No.
He'll come in, and if you want someone who's going to run the midfield, he's going to run the midfield. You'd expect him to at this level, but, you know, he's not playing much football. I think his head's probably into his coaching right now.
Yeah.
But I agree. I thought he was brilliant. And
he was really,
Sterling
really
wasn't
enjoyable, James.
Jesus wasn't brilliant, but Jorginho was.
It was because the game was a bit easy. You tend to watch players, and I was watching him, and I thought, wow, it was just a pleasure to watch him play football, really, and Nwaneri, of course, as well. But the comparison I'm making is that don't matter how well Jorginho played yesterday, he's not going to start against Newcastle as well as he played. I thought he was fantastic, and maybe that's the same scenario with Nwaneri as well. Like, as well as he's played, it's not going to get him or force him into the team against Newcastle. But what he has to do is continue to keep doing what he's doing, and eventually there will be a conversation where I think that the manager's going to have to say, I've got to get him in. And the thing is, where the worrying thing for me is, because I do like watching him, is that Odegaard will be back in a couple of weeks. When is he going to get his games? When is he going to get his moments? But it was a pleasure to watch them two there. You know, I thought that Jorginho, by the way, it's like comparison. One so old, and I don't mean that nasty, but you know what I mean. And one at the end of their career, and one at the beginning, and they was both fascinating to watch.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. James, I mean, like I said, this conversation kind of crosses over into the one this weekend, because I guess Carabao Cup, it's about knocking on doors. Jordan.
Sorry, Turkish. Sorry, man. I know you want to move forward just briefly, because I'm really fascinated by this Nwaneri kid. I only saw him in pre-season for the first time, right? So I'm sure you guys have been tracking him a bit longer than me. I just had two questions. What's his best position? And what do we think his best asset is? Is he dribbling his best skill? Has he got a killer pass? Has he got raw pace? What do we think his what's his weapon? Biggest weapon?
First touch.
Yeah,
James, I'm glad you said that, because for me, my favorite thing in football, the most beautiful thing I think in football is a good first touch. So you saying that really makes me happy.
He just, every touch he took, I'm not going to say he never turned into trouble or tried to step over too much or something like that. He's a flair player. He can get the odd thing wrong. But what I found was, when a ball's given to him in an area that I thought, really, you're giving it to him there? And, you know, you only have these thoughts in a split second. But in a touch or two, he was out of the situation. The pitch had opened up. I was like, how have you gone from three men around you to having the pick of the park to make a pass? And you've done that in two touches. Like, that's what really impressed me. Like, I was like, you've just made yourself space that wasn't there. He always knew where to take the ball. The ball striking's fantastic. I mean, we need a player that can do that. I love seeing that. I also think there looks a versatility to his play where, I think I said this a few weeks back, but if you told me in 5 years' time he's our starting false 9, our starting 10, our starting left 8, or our starting right winger, I'll believe you with all four of those positions. He looks perfectly comfortable, and he looks like he's got the attributes to play all of them. But the way they're using him now in that inside channel where Odegaard would play feels really suited to him, and his goal kind of proved that. But it's really the first touch. What were you going to say, Turkish? Was it the first touch for you as well?
Well, I was going to answer his question on best position, but I think you're right. First touch. I just think, you know, I said he was the cleanest on the pitch, and that comes down to first touch. You know, how he worked in the half spaces. If I'm likening him to anyone at this early stage, and listen, there's probably people in the comments that have seen him more. But from what I've seen of him, I'd say 10/right wing in a Bernardo Silva type of player. That's probably the most like for like I've seen out there in terms of positioning. So
he looks a little bit to me like a very, like when we first signed Nwaneri. He looks like that kind of. He's a 10, but he can come off the right of the. Is that a fair comparison?
I think he's more. I think he comes across more. I hope people understand what I'm saying with this. He comes across more artistic than Nwaneri. Nwaneri was a bit more of a skillful player, but a bullish type of aggressiveness in the attack. But I think Nwaneri is more of a tempo setter in that position.
What I like about him is that he's 17 years of age and he makes the right decision. If it's like there was times yesterday when he was tight to was what James was saying, he'd just pop it back off. And then there was another time he was tight. And I know the time we were thinking we had the three players around him, he turned away and he was away from all three. So he knew when to do it and when not to. And I'm thinking, wow, that's unbelievable. I think that Mikel did say something yesterday, and it is interesting. He wants the ball wherever he is. Whenever he gets the ball, he's not afraid to have the ball, whether it's on the edge of your box or whatever. I don't know what his position will be. I think he's going to be one of those players, if he develops, where I think you've got to have him involved in the game all the time. I wouldn't want him out on the, I don't know, being relied on by other players. I think he's got to be the one dictating play, being involved all the time. And if you can get him and Odegaard in the team at the same time,
I was going to ask that next.
I think you can. I think.
Yeah,
Me
I
and
think you
James,
can. I think you can, but yeah, I think it'd be very, very exciting if we
me and
can.
James have said Odegaard 8. He seems just like a nice fit. So if we do have the ability against teams to play 2 10s, let's say, or 2 8s, attacking 8s, then Odegaard can kind of slot in over that 8 position if it's
Yeah,
weaker teams or teams we're confident against. There was one moment that just told me this player, like that pass, he was on the touchline, he kind of came inside a little bit. There was 3 players, one Arsenal player making a run, and he just effortlessly just passed it through. I forgot who it was, but it was perfectly weighted. It was nonchalant. It was nothing to him. But to a lot of players, they ain't got that in their locker. So yeah, that was the moment for me in that. But
Yeah.
forget the goal aside. I mean, that goal was, we ain't got many players that can put it top corner like that from outside the box. I'll be real with you. So
No, and then his second effort that hit the bar, supported by Arteta's quotes that he's been doing it in training all week, so he's not surprised. That might be like a vintage. I mean, look at some of his goals for I think the England under-17s. He's done that before. Like he's got a great left foot. I mean, the player comparisons will come, but I think again I'm repeating myself from a podcast a few weeks ago, but like again, my biggest compliment to him is that he feels like a player that we don't have in the squad.
yeah,
Like I don't think anyone does what he does. And
Vieira was meant to be him.
Yeah, it's like, except Vieira never had that like burst to get around people. Someone compared him in style before Liverpool fans get upset. Well, actually, maybe they hate this player now, but someone compared him in style to Coutinho. I kind of see it. Coutinho was never a winger, but he had a burst of pace enough to be out wide. And he was better in central areas, but you wouldn't have said he was like an out and out 10 because he also had that like mercurial kind of flair about him. I think the comparison's I see it in profile, which is why I can see him playing a range of different positions for us in the way Coutinho basically could have so easily for Liverpool and basically did. I mean, look, we're kind of, sometimes we're nervous to start to say too much. Let's take it easy, 17-year-old. But at the same time, this can only be doing his confidence wonders. He is a bloody good player. Now, I became an Arsenal fan as Fabregas was 19, but he was kind of established weirdly by then. And so the 2 youngsters I've really known to really break through and make a statement with Jack Wilshere and Bukayo Saka. I'm as impressed. I feel that way, I have to say.
Just taking it out a bit in terms of the bigger picture, I'm excited about the new generation coming through because Yamal winning what he won. Ruud Gullit's words in terms of, I like this type of footballer. They're scarce. I mean, Nwaneri is very different to Yamal, but in terms of that culture type of baller, first touch, half spaces, I put Arda Güler in there. So that is slowly but surely we'll get a generation of not necessarily robots, more people, more players that are more interested in that, that old school finesse type of, football than this whole robotic system based football. So hopefully that continues because, I mean, Pep is getting older and eventually football will change its ways. And I hope it changes its ways back to that type of footballer and Nwaneri, Arda Güler, Yamal, where give them a bit of freedom to express and they'll get things wrong sometimes, but when they get it right.
But football goes through cycles, right? So I think the great example is Jack Grealish going to City. Now, City fans tell you he was a key part of the treble. What's the problem? But then again, maybe football purists will go, yeah, but look at how he used to play for Villa. No one can say he's as entertaining at City. Is he as good? People can debate that, but that's what people say. For anyone getting mad at me, I'm regurgitating the debate. Now, in a world in which football has become a little bit more about systems and roles and executing plans to get the best out of one another and the team cohesion, things like that. For everything that happens, for every rise in tactic, the antidote is what was left behind. It feels in football. And so now, as we get to a world where most teams are quite structured, quite organized, have very particular game plans, how they play, the game busters, the game winners are going to be those who actually can therefore do something out of nothing. So, but originally it was the Mavericks and the people who could play quite freely were nullified, as in oppositions were nullified by teams that had a better tactical control of the game. So everything just kind of goes through waves in football, and you have these cycles. And you know, Pep's tick-attacker team are very different to this current side. They were super exciting, and they use their fullbacks in a very different way. And he's completely evolved over the years to where he's got to now, where I think Pep Guardiola is unbelievable, but I don't find his teams that entertaining to watch. Whereas I used to just have to tune into Barcelona. I don't really watch much football outside the Premier League. So cycles, and you're right, Yamal. And if Nwaneri can be a part of that conversation, then wow. You know,
in no way have I compared all those players, because Yamal and Arda Güler have done things at stages that Nwaneri hasn't even touched, and we just hope he does.
Yeah.
But I just mean in terms of the type of footballer, they've been very scarce in this department. I just want to get the gist first. So it's a yes/no answer for you three before we get into this part of the show. Yes/no answer, and then we talk. Does Nwaneri start against Newcastle for you? In your opinion, does he start in your team setup, James?
Oh, so would we start him?
Would we start him, James?
What did I say on the preview? I can't remember. I think I said yes.
Yeah.
But this is how tight decision is, because I'm changing my mind. I mean, yes, but I'm very wary that this is me with a microphone at my table at at midnight saying it. You know, if I'm answering that question really genuinely, I'm the manager. Am I actually making that decision off what I know now? Probably not. I'm probably sticking with Trossard. But here, right now, I want to see Nwaneri play.
Okay. Yes or no, Lee?
Yes for me. Time's right.
No, Jordan. Yes or no?
I think it's a no from me. But I wouldn't be pissed if he did start.
2 no's, 2 yeses, but the no's wouldn't be pissed if he does start.
No, not at all.
I'd caveat what you said, James, with, what you said in terms of with what he knows so far about Nwaneri, probably not. But what does he know so far without Odegaard in this side? And how does he check? Because we know that we are struggling to create chances at the required level. So, I mean, I'm nervy against Newcastle first and foremost, and I don't think there's a team that we can put out there that I say wholeheartedly we're going to win this game because of our form. We've got the players to do, we've got the unit to do it, but because of our form, I just feel like it's a tough task away from home. We have to do it. How would I feel if come 90 minutes we don't win that game and Nwaneri hasn't been started? And this is coming from someone that has banged on about not relying on him, but it's come to a stage now where you give the man a chance to knock on the door, and he pretty much has kicked the door down and is asking to come in. If you don't play him and we drop points against Newcastle, leaving us precarious position in early stages of a title race, I think it's more damning than playing him and in turn also dropping points. Even though it's a weird one for me. I think he has to play him. I think you can't leave yourself in a position where he's behind Odegaard going into the season. We get rid of Emil Smith-Rowe. He now turns up in the 2 opportunities you've given him in the Carabao Cup. And I'm with Lee. Listen, people can dismiss Bolton and Preston all they like, but they're a higher level than what he's used to, for sure. Even if it's just physical. For a 17-year-old to be playing 20 to 30-year-old championship men, that alone is different. So I think he's got to play him. I think I'd understand him playing him more than not if it's up to me.
I think, sorry, before Lee comes in, if he was to start, I wouldn't be upset with that, because the thing that was evident for me watching the Liverpool game on Sunday was centrally we had nothing in terms of creativity. Nothing. There was no one that could get the ball in the half turn. Trossard did it a couple of times in the first half, but not enough. Second half for me, there was nothing centrally being created. We had to rely on stretching the game and a couple of counters. He would tick that box. You'd get him on the half turn, running at their defense, grating stuff. But I just also feel, listen, Arsenal's points need this weekend supersede protecting the kid, right? But I've seen too many kids at Arsenal come through, look hot, rely on them too early, and then that burden could tell their development. I want him coming on with 20 minutes to go when the game is won. when the game is comfortable, and then there's no pressure on him, and then he can make mistakes. Newcastle is not an easy place to go to. They're not playing great, but that stadium can, if it goes wrong, can swallow you. And you guys have seen more of him than me, so maybe you think he can handle that. I just wouldn't want him to start that match. We go 2-0 down after 20 minutes, and he just gets kind of swallowed up. That would be my concern.
I don't think he would get swallowed up. That's what I
hope
think.
not.
I think this is a. We don't know what's happening with Gabriel, but say if Gabriel is fit, this could be our strongest team we've had out for a while, because and decisions will have to be made whether you can stick with Thomas Partey at right back or you put Ben White over, and then you've got to make a decision whether Mourinho or Thomas Partey plays. So really, for the first time, it could be a little bit of a dilemma for the manager. But I think, particularly against Liverpool, you're right. I don't think they were there for, not us. Reluctant to say that they were there for the taking, but they weren't great. Liverpool. I felt that we could have, and I felt that we didn't have enough tools to win that game. I think that I'm with Turkish on this. We've got to win this game. I don't care what anybody says. It's not going to be easy, but we've got to win these next two games. And if Odegaard's not going to be there, I think that we need to. And Arsenal are much better with Odegaard in the team. So what I think you need is the closest thing to him to get over the line. And I think that he is. I think Trossard does it, but Trossard hasn't got that burst of pace to get beyond it. He collects the ball very, very well, but this kid goes past players. My big concern would be that he cramps up towards the end of that game. So you'd be looking at him going that if you do start him, he's not gonna last. But I just think it's now. We're not in the last saloon stages of the season because it's only 9-10 games. But I think that we've got to do something. We've got to be bold. I think we've got to be a little bit bolder than what we've been.
Mm-hmm. Can I just...
Yeah.
Sorry, just quickly before James comes in. Sorry, guys, interrupted Lee. One quick thing is, this fixture's had a bit of needle in recent years, right? This is going to get physical, this game. And, there's still a little bit of animosity from last year, how that happened. They don't like how Arteta reacted. We think we got effed over. They need a win as well, Newcastle. They've not had a great start to their season. They won the Cup this week as well. This could be quite a physical... It could get a little bit on top, and that's something else I think about as well. No doubt he can handle getting roughed up a little bit. I don't think he's a shrinking violet in that sense, but that's just something else to factor in. This game could be a nasty game in terms of just the last 3 or 4 times we've played Newcastle. There's been a little bit of, bit of oomph in these games.
I think you're right. No, I think you're right to say that. I think you can handle it. It would just, if he did, if he did start Nwaneri, I'm sure we'd all be happy. But this is so bad because Arteta can't win. But would we all not be a bit like, so why didn't you play him more against Shakhtar and start him against Southampton? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If suddenly he's ready now, I'd be like, well, why didn't you give him those to sort of get him kind of ready for Newcastle? But I don't know. That's just, you can't really win, can you? But I don't know. I think I'm such a broken record now. I've said it on the preview. I said it a lot on the Gooniverse as well. The big thing I also want in terms of getting Nwaneri in the team is I want Havertz occupying their centre-backs. I think Havertz has shown he can be a goal scorer for us. The debate is actually no longer, can he score goals? I think he's shown he can score goals. The debate is, can he be a 20, 30 goal a season striker? And he's not going to do that on the touchline. So get him up front. I want that for him. I don't want, players that are meant to be a part of our core being kind of thrown around different positions because, they're versatile. That's great. I know they are, but I would like our starting number 9 to be occupying their centre-backs. And yes, he drops into midfield and does all that stuff, cool. But also I want him on the end of the cross. Against Liverpool, I think 2-3 times he was either the crosser or at the very back post once the kind of cross had, amounted to nothing. I want him in those central areas where he can be dangerous. I think his movement's fantastic. I think he's shown he's got a real life. Look at that header against Brentford. That's a great header. Okay, I know he did that from midfield, by the way, for people in the comments getting nuts. But when he's attacking the penalty area like that, I think that's when he's at his best. So that's another reason why I want Nwaneri in the side, because if it means we can go back to Havertz playing that kind of role, then I think we're a better team for it.
Great point. Do you know one thing I noticed yesterday? I don't know if you noticed it. Did you notice that Jesus was picking the ball up from our centre halves at times? And he's a centre forward.
That's what he does, isn't it? He just
I don't want my centre forward doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's just what we've always done, isn't
I
it?
know, but
not ideal.
It's not ideal. No, like I agree with you. I think that's a great point you make, James. That if you're playing Nwaneri, then Havertz hasn't got to come back there, or whoever's up there. I do think that's a great point. And the header he got yesterday, by the way, was an unbelievable goal. But again, he was playing midfield yesterday, and it was a unbelievable goal, wasn't it? Like, so he sort of crops up in different positions. It's hard to tie him down to one position.
That's great. Havertz, he's a very durable player. I mean, I criticize the players that can't stay fit, so credit to him for always being fit and available. But the big thing is that he's also got a fitness level and a durability about him that you want to give Mourinho 45 minutes, and you can go, well, I'll now go for Havertz for the other 45 to keep it ticking in the Carabao Cup. Fantastic. You're doing your job, and that's where your versatility for me is a great strength. But for this particular, we're going away to top side. City just wouldn't mess around with Haaland. Newcastle wouldn't mess around with Isak. Villa wouldn't mess around with Watkins. And we talk about wanting these strikers, but we actually don't know if Havertz could get... Okay, we know he can't get to Haaland's level, but we actually don't know if he can get to the goal-scoring rates of some of the other players, which are reachable and attainable because we move him around a lot. So please, have him up front. The one time he was in a battle with Konate, I think it was a perfectly legal challenge, and we basically should have scored from it. That was the one time he was in a battle with that guy. And we didn't see it the rest of the game. So, yeah, up front, please.
Yeah, that's fair. What about defensively? I mean, if Ben White's fit, I mean, it picks itself. If Ben White's not fit, I guess that's where it becomes a bit more of a Partey right back option, considering where we done against Liverpool. Is there much question in that, Jordan?
See, I'm worried about this Partey right back thing because he was so good on Sunday, so good, and he's been brilliant all season. I don't want to.
Can't rely on him in that position.
Yeah, I don't want. I don't know if Laura Varovic says that we ain't gonna get that again. Back-to-back games. Do you know what I mean? And he'll be
if he locks down Diaz and then Gordon. I mean, that's two of the best wingers in the league. So we're starting to maybe say, "Hey, this guy fucking right back all of a sudden." Now
even there. Do you know what I mean? So I really hope that Ben White is back because it's a bit of a backhanded compliment. But he was so good there on Sunday. I don't know how he betters that performance again. So yeah, Ben White, do what you got to do, bro. What you got to do.
What's the matter with Ben White then?
Arteta's said something like we lost him after Liverpool is what he said.
Who said that?
Arteta, I think.
Oh, did he? When was that?
Let me find the exact quote.
I heard that as well, though. Exactly that. We lost him.
Here we go. I think
I thought he had a really good game at central defence, by the way.
I thought he was fantastic.
He was good. He was good.
Yeah.
He just said he was struggling at the end of the match, so he wasn't available for tonight's game. But there was something before.
Fine.
Yeah, it probably will be. But he said he might be fine, but will they risk it? They do like to play it more safe this season.
Yeah, and what is it with Ben White? I mean, even originally when he went out, he's felt something, but yeah, now it's we lost him. I mean, it is worrying, but he should be available. People, comment section, let us know your thoughts. Does Nwaneri start this game? Yes or no? In fact, I'll pin a comment and you can leave your thoughts on that one regarding that because it is the big question of the weekend. We will move into predictions now. We're all good to go.
Yep, let's do it.
Yeah. All right, here's the table as it stands now after back-to-back correct scores.
He's creeping up the table.
Did you go 3-0, did you? Well
Yeah,
done.
man. I gave you that head start,
no.
but now it's business time.
Oh, no.
Dear. I didn't realise he got the correct score. Oh,
Back to
man.
back. Back to back.
Back to back. Oh,
Remember when I
wow.
was on 6 points? That was
Fair play.
I was thinking Turkish was like miles off Lee before. How the hell has he swindled to get into third? What's going on? Oh, okay, back to back.
Yeah.
All right.
all of a sudden I'm getting correct scores and people want to drop points off me. The game is the game. These 2 stars, they weigh heavy on these shoulders. I'm telling you.
This guy. Lee, you hearing this? You hearing this, Lee?
I'll be back. Don't worry about that. Like, you know what I mean?
I'll be back. Cool. Yeah, for the audio listener, sorry, James's top 4 correct scores, 18 points. Jordan in second with 2 correct scores, 15 points, having had a point deducted for what he'd done to us this morning and last night. I'm in third on 2 correct scores, 13 points, and Lee's got 1 correct score, 13 points. So yeah, joint on points, but correct scores, goal difference puts Lee bottom of the table. Unfortunately, James, kick us off.
Unfortunately. 1-0 to the Arsenal.
1-0 to the Arsenal. We'll have it. Jordan.
I'm worried, boys. I don't know if we're right. I'm gonna go 0-0. Goalless draw.
0-0. I don't know how I'd feel about that. Yeah, I mean, I feel terrible reading that right now.
Yeah.
I literally predicted 2-2 on the big 6. So we've had 3 2-2s already this year. 2. Man City,
Liverpool.
Do I edge it 2-1? Do I edge it 2-0? 1-1.
Really?
I'm going to go 2-1 to the Arsenal.
I don't think he's going to play and start him, so I envision the same problems. 2-1, you said, Lee, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1. I think we'll just nick it.
Okay, so James has gone 1-0 Arsenal. He's
well.
gone 2-1 Arsenal. Me and Jordan have gone for draws, 0-0 Jordan, 1-1 myself. So let us know your predictions in the comment section below. And obviously, download the AFTV Plus app, people, if you want to join us on the Fourever Predictor. Coming up to hour, so we should be past 1,000 likes, if I'm honest. Double check, people. If we're not, then hit the like button, show some love. And let's keep it moving to comments of the day. We're already on that front.
All right, so
I've
just got to say, my comment is on the computer next door, but I can't go there because my signal is really bad in that room. So I need to have a little bit of a
James,
this week.
Lee straight away. Oh, we'll let you off. Are you seeing what's going on around here, James? Like, listen,
I'm not getting involved.
Yeah,
cheers, James.
If they've got a team there, I mean,
cheers, James. Cheers, Lee.
That's right. No problem.
I had a great one. Hold on. Someone go first.
I'll go first. This one, it says, Lee said, I don't watch football no more, apart from Arsenal. Then proceeds to reel off all the other games that he watched that day. Which I did, but it was a one-off. They're on it, aren't they? They're on it in these comments. They're absolutely on it.
I found mine. It was Harry HD. So remember I cut my lip just before, so I had the piece of just a roll, sort of dabbing the blood. Harry HD, James holding his lip because he got into a scrap with Jordan before the pod.
Why are we fighting?
I don't know. Every, you know, Jordan, you get hate in the comments, you take it really well, but the comments seem to think we all hate you. They keep thinking there's beef between you and Turkish. Now I'm getting beat up by you. Like, I don't get it.
Me and Lee next.
Yeah.
By the way, Gilson 1996. Sorry, I didn't mention his name.
Okay. My one is more. Okay, let me get mine in. So There was a comment saying we're coming to a point where Turkish is being negative for the sake of being negative. It's not that comment. That was from Jenga. But the reply from Hurricane Satin, whatever his name is, Hurricane Cheese, let's say, or Chize. I'm going to break this down. He says, some Arsenal creators and fans are permanently negative. They take short breaks of positivity if we win and play well. Oh, if we win and play well, they're positive. Who would have fucking thought that? But but as soon as we lose, draw, or win with a poor performance, they overreact again and ignore all context. You're ignoring the context here that we're up against City, where every game matters, right? But that's not the context you're talking about in this. The context you're talking about in this is maybe the injuries or the suspension. That's fair, but apply the full context of the season as well and who we're up against, right? If we're going to talk about context. Moving on. Some of them are miserable people. I'm definitely not miserable. Some of them are engagement merchants. I barely post on Instagram. I barely post on Twitter. I barely post on my channel, so I can't be accused of that. But they all get more energy from tearing down the team and players than joy from seeing Arsenal win. Disagree. I was in Highbury, mate, watching us win games while you were probably either in nappies or still in your dad's balls. But I don't know your age. If we disagree, we'll quote soft fans with quote low standards. Remember this bit. I'd argue we're just stable, rational people. So apparently you're soft fans with low standards if you disagree, right? But then you've just accused me of being miserable or engagement merchant. So a bit of hypocrisy there, right? No, we don't want that context. Let me move on. Look how quickly Turkish jumped on Havertz in this episode. I wasn't quick at all with it. I just offered my opinion because very few people talk when he's not performing to a 275k a week level. He hates Havertz because he was wrong about him. I don't hate no Arsenal player. I don't know them. I have very little hate in my heart for anyone in this world, let alone a fucking Arsenal player. And I'm not wrong about him yet. I'm not wrong about him yet, but you're assuming I am. That's fine. If you think this current level is worthy of a highest paid player, then yeah, it says more about you. But he has to keep his mouth shut when Kai is playing well. Oh, so when Kai's playing well, I keep my mouth shut. I don't praise him, no? I haven't praised him across the past year, no? Context, sorry, I forgot about that. He's hoping Kai slips up so he can be, quote, right about Havertz being a bad signing. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. And I hope you're right in that. And I continue to maintain that. Imagine rooting against your team players because of your own stubbornness. Now you're accusing me of rooting against my team, but you have a problem with being called soft with low standards. Which one is it? Is it okay for you to label other people you don't know, but it's not okay the other way? Oh, problems, context. But yeah, on that note, comment of the day, that one there. I love them comments because
I mean, my response is to be fair, you are quite negative.
Oh yeah, but I'm pessimistic. I'm pessimistic in general, even about life. I mean, you get people who, think, being positive about life is going to change what's going on in the world today. I mean, this is outside of football. So you get these people in general, that's fine. Like, be positive, be happy and all of that over there. But, those type of comments don't make sense to me because it's a lot of, oh, you call us soft, but you hate him and you're miserable. Well, you can't be upset about being called soft and then call someone miserable. Like, it doesn't really,
So it's fair to say you don't agree with what they're saying.
No, he didn't like the, yeah.
No, it's fair to say that really to what they're saying. But I thought I'd break it down. I thought I'd break it down in a professional manner.
It was
very, very well done.
I think you were the epitome of professional there.
Until the end,
you topped it off at the end for sure. Yeah, that's. I mean that's a.
Listen, at the end of the day, it does amaze me when people do say this, like. What you want Kai Havertz to fail because of course you don't. You know what I mean? The end all we want is Arsenal to be successful and win games. Now we go about it in different ways. You know why we go about it in different ways? Because we're different people.
Yeah,
that's what it is. You know what I mean? I'd love to be able to walk out of a game, and I mean this sincerely. We've lost, and just go, oh well, never mind. Just get on with my day. There are people that do that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean to say that they're wrong. There's people that lose their heads and all that, like, you know what I mean. And it's we're all different, and I think that's what people you've got to accept it. That's why probably this podcast is probably successful because we're all different.
Yeah,
I don't understand why people. Sorry, why people if that guy that wrote that message or that left that comment, like that's a long message to write out. Like that's a lot of negativity. Even if he's right, even if what he's saying is true, like job. Like, haven't you got Netflix? Like Griselda, I recommend it. It's really, really good. Sex is really fun. Like, there's stuff to do. Like, if you're gonna write a long message, at least make it a nice one. You know what I mean? Like, bro, you got time. You got time.
Yeah, so and he called me miserable. Guys writing fucking sonnets in the comment section about it. Yeah. Let's keep it moving. Well, I say keep it moving. Let's wrap it up. That has been the episode for Preston Carabao Cup 3-0 and Newcastle this weekend. Again, short turnaround. We will be back Sunday, I believe, for the next show. So make sure you're there.
Look at this guy. He's lying on his side, sort of just chilling.
Oh, sorry.
I thought it was Saturday evening we was doing it.
He's just chilling like this. Just waiting for the podcast.
We'll talk off air. We'll talk off air.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll talk off air.
I thought it was in the evening.
Yeah, but
I'd rather do it in the evening because when you go to sleep, we just don't know if you're going to get up. So
one show. Hey, get out there. Jordan, what do you want?
Sorry, I can't actually do Saturday. It's my birthday Saturday, so I can't do Saturday. But I can do.
It's your mate's birthday Saturday. You still want to do it Saturday?
You share your birthday with Cecil then.
We do.
Yeah.
Oh, it's his birthday right now, isn't it?
Friday, 1st of November.
Just send him a message.
Oh no, you're on the 2nd, is it?
Yeah, 2nd.
I thought he was 2nd as well.
No, my Charlie's the 2nd as well. Like my boy's birthday's the 2nd.
It's a great day.
Great day. Great day.
Birthday, Cecil, Charlie, and Jordan. Come on, show some love to Jordan in the comment section. It's not.
Come on, man. Be nice to me. Do
it. And that's it, people. Love for the love. James, were you checking?
I'm texting Cecil happy birthday.
No, we still got a fucking pod to do. But
Isn't it?
No, because I'm terrible with birthdays. I'll forget. I'll be like, oh, it's his birthday, and then we'll chat for another 2 minutes, and then I'll just fuck off to bed and remember on the 4th of November. So I was like, let me just do it. So yeah. Anyway, happy birthday to you, Jordan, because I will forget. So take that one from me.
Thank you, boys.
Nice.
What a mess of a pod. Anyway, we should have just left it.
Hope you loved it. Same way, people. Love for the love. We're at peace.